Everything these days is related to your race and I hate it. Why can't we focus on individualism? I just saw a post on Reddit about a black surgeon successfully doing a transplant to cure deafness. Awesome, right? Yes, it is very cool, but why does black need to be added to the title? I think that a lot of people are actually becoming more racist by hating racism so much. Everyone is trying to be so inclusive. Just focus on individuals and the world will be a better place.
Or better yet, include a name and give credit.
I will upvote because I agree, but I have a feeling this is a popular opinion. I wish we didn't have to be forced into racial roles, but we're just ourselves.
I got permanently banned from that sub for calling that exact post condescending for focusing on the surgeon's race instead of him as an individual, and that they might as well have just said, "You did pretty well for a black guy." A while ago, that same sub had a post where they celebrated the first black women to become a John Deere tractor mechanic in South Africa. Considering black people are literally flying around in space, it has becomes a little condescending to focus on the race aspect of every single achievement. Are the people celebrating these achievements genuinely surprised a black woman could become a tractor mechanic or something?
Nobody calls me a white engineer, just a nerd.
I agree. The nation has become very tribalistic. Personally, I'd rather us come together under one nationality, one American people. While different communities face different problems, we focus on race far too much.
I pretty much think that America is changing how people think into tying everything to their race or beliefs, not saying other countries don't, I just know America does. Anything bad that happens to them must be because they are gay, trans, black, or fill in the blank. Not because their behavior at all. And that's honestly a dangerous thing for someone to have as their reality.
I have a dream that one day we will judge a man by the content of his character and not by the color of his skin. The modern-day version goes something like this: I have a dream that my non-white, non-straight racial and sexual status will give me a special place in American society.
Racism is a real issue. The solution? Apparently it's to frequently highlight the differences between the races and act as if your race is your team. The real issue? The world is full of complete fucking idiots. Your race is the human race, saying anything to the contrary makes you a useless prick, further fueling race issues.
It's identity politics. Probably one of the most evil, disenfranchising concepts to come out of modern times. It kills the individual and celebrates mob mentality.
You don't read, Asian doctor does this surgery. When the press says, black doctor did this, I feel like they are saying it is a miracle that someone with black skin can do this surgery. That is offensive to me. Backdoor racism.
And the only time white is mentioned is when it's about something negative.
I feel like it's more extreme in USA.
Don't forget about gender.
Yeah, I've done a 180 on this topic in the last decade. Now I wish everyone would completely disregard race in every comment, article, policy, program, etc. At this point it seems like focusing on race is fueling division and racism, rather than lessening it.
Everything these days is related to your race and I hate it. Yeah, but hasn't it always been? The so-called conversation that we're having about it right now is so that eventually it doesn't have to be.
Hasn't it always been this way in the US? The only way it's gonna stop is if you people stop obsessing over it. I think you guys made a lot of progress in the 90s, early 2000s, but then social media and the younger generations fucked it all up again.
98% of my days I go about my work, life and see nothing about race. I come here and it's everywhere. Maybe it's you guys.
Remember the early 2000s when it was, don't put a label on anyone or anything, we are all equal? Yay, what the fuck happened to that? Now it's, you better know my pronouns and who and how and what I identify as or I will be offended. Can we go back please?
Black people go to jail more than any race in this country.
Has less wealth than any race in this country. Has more fatherless homes than any race in this country. And Reddit absolutely loves to point that out along with the 13% population 50 crime bullshit. It's clear that black people are statistically behind in a lot of ways. So when a black man does an amazing accomplishment, why is his blackness all of a sudden irrelevant? Black people are demonized on Reddit left and right from the left and right. When a black man goes against statistics and does something astonishing, all of a sudden it's as if the negative statistics never existed. That's comedy.
Labeling is the root cause of the sickness. If people didn't see each other so differently, there would be so much division.
Identitarianism is killing civil society. We are being pitted against each other with things like race, sexual orientation and gender. This is the people in charge keeping the masses divided.
That title alone just screams, clap for this black doctor. You know how hard it is for black people to become doctors. The suddenly racism lately been so rampant, yet people rather flip shit on make-up racism they coming up with.
I'll give it a few hours before this is posted in r fragile white Redditor if it isn't already. They're so obsessed with race it's insane.
People today, let's fix racism by constantly focusing on race. That's like fixing your weight problem by constantly focusing on food, or fixing your drug addiction by constantly focusing on drugs.
As a very smart black man, Morgan Freeman, once said how to stop racism. Just stop talking about it. That's literally it. Racism is nothing more than seeing people as races instead of just people. Don't say black man does this, say man does this. Call the black men by his fucking name. This woke culture, if anything, only hurts black people and also increases racism, for making people think about race all the time.
That's what I hate about the media. When it comes to white people, they always mention the names. This person did something bad. This person did something good. I'm not blaming white people. It's the media that does shit like this, but when it comes to minorities. A black person did something bad. A black person did something good. It's like black people are not seen as individuals. The media likes to frame things a certain way to help with the divide that's already there. Why? 'Cause it makes more news. White person was racist against black person, Asian people stealing jobs. Mexican people rapists, black person steals shoes. It's dumb.
It's 2020 and it's become clear that life sucks to varying degrees no matter what your skin color. This is especially true in America, or any Western first world country, where you've basically won the lottery in life. Broke and poor here has absolutely nothing in other places of the world where poverty is literal hell on earth. If you're still using skin color either as a crutch or a tactic to bring someone down, you're an idiot. Further, if you're bringing attention to it when it doesn't matter in the slightest, you're part of the problem.
Everybody is a human being, nothing more, nothing less. Race is a social construct. The amount of melanin in your skin, where you're from, or what language you speak, doesn't change the fact that you're a Homo sapien.
2 points relevant.
LMAO. Yeah, things these days are so different, compared to the centuries of history where your race determined your living, education, access to credit, ability to vote and basic human rights. What an anomaly, am I right?
It's 2020. Need to move on and stop acting like being born into any ethnicity is some sort of achievement or anything to be proud of. Be happy, sure, but pride is supposed to be for individual achievement, not luck of birth.
Probably black person write the article and he was proud black doc found the cure. Not everything is racism.
Identity politics on the left perpetuates it.
It's because race used to be our tribal affiliation, so our brains are wired for in-group preference. Now it's our politics. In a pluralist society such as ours, it's better to hate racism than to hate other races. If you allow a gross generalization, left-leaning people unite around their hatred of racism. The antithesis of identity politics, as you already noted, is individualism. This is usually associated with the right. So roughly half of people already agree with you, except they are afraid of being labeled racists.
On one hand I understand this, but on the other hand race is brought up a lot because it does really impact one's life. It is often harder for minorities to achieve goals than others, and that should be respected.
I agree, but at the same time have to think how much black people would have liked to have had the ability adopt this mindset for hundreds of years until, I dunno, round about 1970. Tribalism is going too far, but it's not fair to ignore the root causes.
If race doesn't matter to you, isn't important, then why does it bother you when it is mentioned? Smiley face.
I get you what you mean. People should just focus on being a person instead of being this type of person or that type of person. Some people really seem to be hung up I'm this type of person or I'm that type of person. Let's just all forget about that stuff and focus on being a good person.
2 points the truth.
Black man does something to help humanity. Why does it have to be about race? A white single father does the most simple braid that a toddler could do. What a great father. So good. Single dad, you rock. Top of all yesterday, over 40K up votes.